The silent colony, the colony was quiet, almost too quiet, like a dream frozen in space. Children played near the glass domes, their laughter echoing against the steel walls. Farmers worked in green fields under artificial sunlight, and traders exchanged goods in the small market. It was a place built far from war, a home where humans believed they were safe for years. The colony lived in peace. People forgot about the dangers of the galaxy. They thought the council would protect them. They thought treaties meant something. But in the darkness beyond the stars, someone was watching, silent, patient, waiting for the right moment. Captain Elias, the colony's defense officer, often walked along the docking bay. He looked at the few small ships they had. They were nothing compared to the fleets of alien empires. Sometimes he wondered if they were truly safe. But he never spoke his doubts. The people needed hope, not fear, that evening. A strange silence spread across the colony. It was not the normal calm of night. It was heavy, almost like the air itself was holding its breath. The children stopped their games. Animals in the farms grew restless. Mothers pulled their children inside. No one knew why, but hearts started beating faster high above. A worker in the watchtower saw it first, a shadow moving against the stars. At first he thought it was just a passing asteroid, but then more shadows appeared. Dark shapes forming a line. Too many, too organized. He pressed the alarm button with shaking hands. Sirens screamed across the colony. Red lights flashed in every corridor. Captain Elias rushed to the command center, his voice steady but his eyes cold with fear. Shields up, call every ship. Prepare the people. But deep inside he knew the truth. Their small defense force was nothing. The sky above the colony turned black. Massive alien ships broke through the void, their weapons glowing like fire. The people of the colony looked up in shock. Some fell to their knees, others screamed. No one could believe what they were seeing. The nightmare had come without warning. Open a channel, Elias ordered, his voice loud. This is human territory. Identify yourselves, but only silence came. And then without a word, the first shot was fired. The ground shook as explosions ripped through the outer domes. Glass shattered, fire erupted. Screams filled the air. Parents clutched their children and ran. Soldiers tried to fight, but their weapons barely scratched the alien armor. One by one, the defense lines fell in the chaos. A young girl named Lena ran through the burning streets, her small hand holding a toy starship. Her eyes full of tears, she cried for her mother who was lost in the smoke. Around her, the world she knew was collapsing, and no one could stop it. Captain Elias sent desperate messages. This is Colony Vesta 9, we are under attack. Repeat. We are under attack, anyone, please respond. His voice cracked, but he kept shouting. Each second the signals grew weaker. The flames grew higher in the council chambers far away. Ambassadors received fragments of the message. They whispered among themselves. Another human colony destroyed. How many is this now? But they looked away. No one wanted to face the storm that was coming back on the colony. Elias watched as the last defense ship was torn apart. The sky lit with fire and falling metal. He knew it was over, but still he fought. Still he sent signals, until his station collapsed in flames. The silence returned, the colony was gone, only ashes drifting in space. But in that silence, something else was born. The survivors who escaped in tiny pods carried more than fear. They carried memory. They carried fury. They carried a message that would shake the galaxy. And far away, in the hidden heart of human space, leaders would soon listen to that message. They would not forgive, they would not forget. The massacre of the colony would not be the end. It would be the beginning, because when humanity mourns, it also prepares. When humanity is silent, it is only waiting, and when humanity rises, the stars themselves tremble. The night of the silent colony was carved into history, not as the night humanity broke, but as the night humanity began to unleash its fury. Whispers of war news of the colony massacre spread like smoke through the void. The escape pods carried broken survivors, their eyes empty, their voices trembling. Each word they spoke was like fire. The truth reached Earth within days. Humanity had been struck in the heart in the great hall of Earth's capital. Leaders gathered. The chamber was filled with heavy silence. Images of burning domes played on the giant screens. Children screaming, towers collapsing, ships breaking apart. No one looked away, no one spoke for long moments. Finally, Admiral Rain broke the silence, his voice sharp like steel. We cannot remain still if we do nothing. More colonies will burn. His eyes moved across the room. He saw fear in the faces of diplomats, hesitation in the eyes of merchants, but he also saw anger rising in every heart. President Kane leaned forward, his tone calm but cold. The Council ignores us, the Empire mocks us. They think humanity is weak, they think we will bow. He paused, his hand pressed against the table. But they will learn we are not weak. Not anymore. Outside the chamber, whispers spread through the city. People spoke in markets, in schools, in crowded stations. The colony is gone. Aliens will come for us next. But maybe humanity will finally fight. The whispers grew into a storm of rumor and hope far away. In hidden shipyards deep within asteroids, engineers worked without rest. They had been building for years in secret, preparing for the day humanity would need to rise. Thousands of half-finished ships waited in silence, dark hulls stretching like mountains inside colossal caverns. Commander Lyra walked through the echoing halls, her boots striking the steel floor. She looked up at the massive engines and weapons being fitted. Her voice carried only one order. Faster, double the output, no excuses. We do not wait anymore. Alien spies tried to learn what humanity was doing, but none returned. Patrols at the borders grew tighter. Signals were cut. Humans spoke less but prepared more. The galaxy noticed the sudden silence, and that silence became fear in alien courts. Rumors spread. Humans are building something vast. No one can confirm the number of ships, and their borders are locked tighter than a war front. Many laughed, dismissing the tales, but others could not sleep at night, because the whispers would not stop back on Earth. Ordinary people marched in the streets. They carried pictures of lost families from the colony. They lit candles and stood together in silence. That silence was not weakness, it was unity. It was rage being shaped into resolve. President Kane stood before them one night, his face lit by thousands of candles. His voice carried across the crowd. They thought the massacre would break us, but it has united us. They thought we would hide, but we will rise. Humanity does not forget. Humanity does not forgive. His words traveled across every human world, across colonies, across outposts. Every listener felt their chest tighten, every heartbeat with a single rhythm. Meanwhile, the council debated in their high tower. Alien voices argued, if humans rise, they will bring war. Another voice answered, let them scream. They are ants compared to empires. But deep inside they remembered history. They remembered the times when humans refused to die even against impossible odds. And a quiet dread grew in secret meetings. Admirals spoke of the fleet. How many can we wake? How soon can we deploy? The answers came with numbers so large they shook even their own voices. 500,000 ships waiting in silence, hidden for decades, built for one purpose. The galaxy did not know, but the storm was already moving. Whispers of war echoed through every star, and those whispers carried one truth. When humanity prepares, the universe will soon tremble. The awakening fleet deep inside forgotten sectors of space, where no alien dared to travel. Silence ruled for decades. Giant doors of black steel floated around dead stars. From outside they looked like abandoned ruins, but inside, humanity's greatest secret was sleeping. Rows upon rows of colossal warships rested in darkness. Engines cold, weapons silent. Each ship larger than a city. Each hull marked with codes and names. Some carried the names of fallen colonies, some the names of heroes long gone, all waiting for a single command admiral. Rain entered the command chamber of the hidden shipyard. His boots echoed against metal floors. Before him stretched a window showing thousands of dark warships. He stood in silence for a long moment, then whispered, "It is time." Giant reactors roared to life. One after another, the silence of centuries shattered. The engines lit up like newborn suns. Power surged through the sleeping warships. Metal groaned. Lights flared across their hulls. The void itself seemed to awaken. Technicians cheered, engineers wept. Commanders saluted as ship after ship powered up. The awakening was not just of machines. It was the awakening of humanity's fury. Alien scouts patrolling far borders caught a glimpse of strange flashes in the distance, signals of massive energy spikes. One scout ship recorded the shadows of hundreds of warships emerging from darkness. Before it could transmit fully, a human interceptor cut it down in silence. No trace left back on Earth. Giant screens lit up across every city. The people watched as the first awakened fleet rose into formation. The sky filled with human warships moving as one. Children pointed at the screens with wide eyes. Old men whispered prayers. Mothers held their children tighter, not in fear, but in pride. President Kane stood before the broadcast and spoke. For too long they thought we were weak. For too long we bowed to their power. But today the universe will see the truth. Humanity does not crawl. Humanity rises. Humanity commands the stars. Cheers erupted across human worlds. The silence of grief turned into thunder of unity. From miners on asteroids to soldiers in distant outposts, every human voice carried the same words. For the colony, for humanity, for the fallen in alien courts. Panic spread like fire. Envoys rushed with broken news. 500,000 ships? Impossible, one alien leader shouted. Humans cannot build this many. Another trembled. But the evidence is there, they are moving. They are coming, council members shouted, their chambers filled with fear. Some demanded negotiations. Others demanded preemptive strikes. But none could agree, and while they argued, the human fleet kept awakening inside the warships. Soldiers trained in silence. They moved like shadows, discipline carved into every step. Captains walked through endless corridors, checking weapons, whispering oaths of vengeance. Every man and woman knew what was coming. Commander Lyra stood aboard the flagship Iron Dawn, her eyes scanning the endless fleet outside. Her voice carried across comms. Remember their screams, remember their fire. Remember the silence of Vesta 9. Today we rise for them. The fleet aligned in perfect formation. Wave after wave of warships stretching until they vanished into the horizon. Their engines burned bright, painting the void in human fire. Alien spies sent desperate messages, but many were intercepted. Their warnings never reached home. Only fragments escaped, whispers of the impossible. Whispers of humanity's awakening in the darkness of space. The war drums of humanity began to echo, silent to ears but heavy to hearts. It was not just a fleet, it was a storm. 500,000 warships breathing as one, and as the fleet moved, the universe itself seemed to shiver, because for the first time in history, humanity was no longer defending, humanity was no longer begging. Humanity was coming, and nothing in the galaxy was ready for what was about to arrive. The day of fury. The galaxy had seen wars before, empires clashing, fleets burning, but nothing could prepare them for what was coming. The human fleet moved like a tidal wave of steel, 500,000 warships emerging from the void together, their engines blazing like suns, their weapons armed, their hulls gleaming with silent rage. From a distance they looked like a storm swallowing the stars. Commander Lyra stood on the bridge of the flagship Iron Dawn, her voice calm but heavy. Today we answer their fire with fire. Today, the galaxy will remember us. Every captain repeated her words across the comms, and the voices of 500,000 echoed together. For the colony, for humanity. As the fleet crossed into alien territory, outposts fell silent. Defense lines shattered before they could even send warnings. Human ships moved with perfect coordination, like a single living creature made of steel and flame. The first Empire world they struck was Dravon, a fortress world surrounded by defense rings. Alien generals laughed when they saw the incoming signals. No fleet can break Dravon, they boasted. But then the sky filled with human warships, and their laughter died. The battle began with a roar. Thousands of human warships unleashed fire in one single strike. Entire defense rings melted under the storm. Alien ships tried to form lines, but each wave was cut down before it could even aim. Every move they made was countered instantly. Admiral Rain gave the command, no hesitation, strike hard, strike fast. Human warships pierced through like blades through paper, their cannons burning, missiles cutting through shields. In hours, Dravon's sky turned red with fire and debris. Citizens on the ground watched in terror and awe. They had been told humans were weak, yet here they stood under the shadow of a fleet larger than anything they had ever seen. Some wept, others prayed. All realized the galaxy had changed forever. Alien council members received desperate transmissions. Draven is falling. The humans are unstoppable, and they have numbers we cannot match. Panic spread in their chambers. Their voices trembled, but still they argued instead of acting. And while they argued, more human fleets advanced on the Iron Dawn. Commander Lyra clenched her fist, her eyes fixed on the burning world. This is not conquest, this is memory, this is for the fallen. Her words carried weight, because every human ship carried names of the dead carved into their steel. Every battle was personal. Meanwhile, alien leaders tried to rally their empires. Humans must be stopped, or they will destroy us all. But the fear was too strong. Allies hesitated, neighbors closed borders. No one dared to face the storm head-on. The day of fury spread from one system to another. Colonies, fortresses, stations all fell in waves. The human fleet crushed defenses. Shattered fleets silenced worlds, not with joy, not with cruelty, but with cold, calculated vengeance. In one system, a group of alien commanders begged for surrender. They opened their channels, their voices desperate. "We did not order the massacre, please, we want peace." But humanity's reply was silence. Only the sight of endless warships moving forward. Alien children cried in shelters. Mothers prayed, soldiers trembled, and across the stars, one truth became clear. Humanity was no longer weak. Humanity was no longer prey. And as the human fleet pushed deeper, their fury burned brighter, their vengeance stronger. The galaxy began to whisper a new fear. Not what have humans lost, but what will humans take? For the first time, the galaxy trembled not because of empire, but because of Earth. The day of fury was not just a battle. It was the moment the universe realized humanity had awakened, and nothing could put that fire back to sleep. The judgment of stars, the galaxy was burning. System after system falling silent, the day of fury had passed. But its shadow stretched across every star now. 500,000 human warships stood at the gates of the Empire's core. The heart of their power, the place they believed untouchable. Alien leaders gathered in panic inside their grand palace. Their voices cracked with fear. They will not dare strike here. No one ever has, but even as they spoke, signals came. Endless human fleets approaching, their formation like a wall of fire across the void. On the flagship Iron Dawn, Commander Lyra stood at the main deck, her voice sharp. Today is not battle. Today is judgment. They burned our colony. They silenced our children. Now the stars themselves will carry our answer. Her words spread across every human ship, and the fleet roared in silence, ready to strike. Alien civilians filled shelters, eyes wide with terror. They had been told for generations that humans were nothing but insects. Now those same insects filled their skies, each ship glowing like a star of vengeance. Admiral Rain gave the order, his tone steady. Surround them. No escape. The human fleet moved in perfect arcs, 500,000 ships cutting off every route. The Empire's fleets tried to gather, but their numbers were small, their spirits already broken. The first clash came swift. Alien dreadnoughts unleashed volleys of fire, but human shields absorbed the storm, then answered with fury. Waves of missiles and beams tore through their lines, each alien ship exploding like dying suns. The core system shook as their proud fleets vanished in minutes. Inside the council chamber, desperate voices cried, "Send a plea, beg them for peace," another shouted. "They will not listen. They come for blood." Fear crushed them until their words turned to whispers. Commander Lyra's voice echoed through the comms. "We do not fight for conquest. We do not fight for crowns. We fight for memory, for the voices they silenced, for the children who never came home." Her fleet answered not with cheers but with fire, their silence louder than any war cry. The Empire's grand palace trembled as human warships descended closer, their massive cannons charged, targeting systems locked. The alien emperor fell to his knees, his eyes empty. He whispered, "This cannot be real," but reality burned outside his windows, and then a strange silence came. The human fleet stopped firing. 500,000 warships stood still, their weapons aimed, their presence crushing every soul watching. Humanity held the galaxy in its hand, and in that moment the aliens understood true fear. Admiral Rain spoke, his voice broadcasted across the Empire. "Come and merciless. We do not seek your worlds. We do not seek your thrones. We seek only truth. You massacred our people. You called it nothing. Today the stars themselves remember, and today the stars judge you with a single command." Human warships unleashed one final wave, but it was not chaos. It was precise. They destroyed the Empire's fleets, their weapons, their thrones, their banners, everything that carried their pride. But they spared the civilians, they spared the innocent. Alien children watched from shelters as human ships passed overhead. No fire fell on them, only silence, only shadows of warships drifting away. And in that silence, a truth carved itself into history. Humans were not destroyers, they were avengers. The Empire collapsed, their leaders gone, their power shattered. The council that had once mocked humanity now trembled. No one dared to laugh again. No one dared to speak against Earth. And across the galaxy whispers spread, not of fear alone, but of respect. Humans do not forget, humans do not forgive, but humans do not kill without reason. Their fury was terrifying, but their restraint even more. The stars had witnessed judgment, and the memory would never fade. For every race, for every world, one truth remained: when humanity mourns, the universe trembles. When humanity rises, the universe kneels, and thus, the massacre of one colony became the story that changed the galaxy forever.